I am joined by a group of very musical folk. Just introduce yourself, starting at that side, please.
Je suis Jean-Michel. J'habite à Colby pour le moment. J'arrive de France, mais ça fait 20 ans que je suis sur l'île de Man.
I would like to be able to conduct the entire interview in French, but you know very well, Jean-Michel, I am not good enough for that. Katie, you can introduce yourself in whichever language you like.
I'll prefer English, please. Thank you. My name's Katie Kinley.
Katie Kinley?
Yes.
That's a familiar sounding name.
It is, yes. I'm like,
this is where you do the jingle in the background, Chris. No. Go on. Go on.
Can't do it.
Oh, Chris.
Carry on.
Right, Sue, go on, introduce yourself.
I'm Sue Griffiths and I come from Peel.
All the way from Peel. I say all the way from Peel. You three have been a lot further than that recently, haven't you? What have you been doing, Sue?
We were very lucky to be part of our amazing choir on the Isle of Man, the Isle of Man Choral Society. And we actually got invited to go and sing in New York in the Carnegie Hall. And if that wasn't enough, we got asked to do the premiere of a work by Sir Carl Jenkins, who is the most played modern day composer who's alive. So we couldn't say no.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so pleased you're here. Distinguished Concerts International New York celebrates its 10th anniversary of this concert. But now, a world premiere.
So first of all, how did this actually come about, Katie? How on earth do you end up going to New York to do something like this?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I think Sue's probably the right person to answer that question, because I only came on board because Sue asked me to.
She's very persuasive, isn't she?
She is. She is very persuasive. Although I wouldn't regret it at all. It was an absolutely fantastic experience. But I think we were asked to come by... Yeah, it was the DCIN... YS, I think, something like that. And basically, they invite choirs to come and sing in the Carnegie Hall if they think they're good enough. And we'd sung Carl Jenkins' work before we did The Armed Man and the Requiem a few years ago. And our conductor at the time, Pam Dukas, had spoken with Carl Jenkins. And we got asked by the DCIMYS to forward them a playing of us singing. And on the basis of that, they invited us to go.
Wow.
So we were told we could have as many places as we wanted, and they would fill up the rest of the places with members from other choirs around the world, and that's what happened.
How many of you went in the end, by the way?
49.
Jean-Michel, that is an honour and a privilege at the end of the day, isn't it? You get to be the first person to say, what was it like?
It was just wonderful. We had people coming, as Sue said, from all over the world, and stepping on that stage, which is quite impressive after people like Aretha Franklin or Nina Simone or just people that calibre. So it was just absolutely lovely and a privilege. It was extremely well organised. And we had Jonathan Griffiths, who is an extraordinary conductor.
No relation, I take it, Sue?
No, I did ask.
just checking there.
He was quite relieved to find out we weren't.
We were really, really under some fantastic leadership. But being on stage with the composer 3 rows down us was...
So, because Carl was watching, wasn't
was there,
he?
Yes.
Oh my word! Could you see the whites of his eyes, Sue?
You could, and what was really amazing was he came to the dress rehearsal, and we suddenly realised he'd never heard his own work sung or performed before.
What?
Because he wrote it. We were the premiere. We're the very first choir to sing that work. It was commissioned for that performance. And it's the first time he heard the orchestra. And so when we were doing the final dress rehearsal, every so often the conductor turned round to check with Sir Carl that it was okay and was he happy with the speed and the sound.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. But I have to say, it was one... We were on stage at the end, and Sir Carl Jenkins got invited up, and there was a standing ovation, and the hall just erupted with applause, and it was the most bizarre experience. you know, when you think you shouldn't really be there and that somebody might just come at some point and say, I'm sorry, but actually you're not really part of this.
You get the hook at the side of the stage, just dragging you off.
I think we felt a bit like that all the way along, really. Got ushered onto this fabulous, huge stage in this beautiful hall. And then there's a really professional, amazing orchestra with one of the best violinists I've heard in some time. And they're playing the sound. We'd sung it. I mean, our conductor, Julian Power, has been amazing at getting us to the level of, you know, knowing this work, because it was an unknown work to him. We had nothing to go off. No one had sung it before. He couldn't hear it sung by anyone else, so he's had to do it from scratch. What a job he did, because we got there and we, I think, were the most confident of the singers. So standing there, and then when the orchestra started up and we realised we'd sung the melody, but we hadn't, and the choral bit, we hadn't heard all the amazing orchestration that was going underneath it.
What did it feel like, Katie?
When the orchestra actually came on with it, it was absolutely incredible, and it sounded so different to how we'd sung it before, because it had just been bits and bobs, but you know, it just prickles all down your back. It was, and the hair stood on end. It was just amazing. Never ever will I experience anything like that again. It was just awesome, wasn't it?
And so you're pleased now that Sue roped you in?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for all of it. I mean, yeah, we all love singing anyway. So, and it's a great community thing that we do. So, that win in itself is a good thing to do. So, but yeah, I think we'll take that forever. I think it was pretty good.
And Jean-Michel, it's so lovely as well to be able to go and do something like this with friends too.
It was a wonderful week. Very hard work, because it wasn't only the singing. We had to represent the Isle of Man in every possible way.
Explain further, please.
Well, obviously you have to do a lot of sightseeing. You have to visit all the important points. You have to visit in New York. So managed to go skating, for example, in Central Park.
The ice
Nothing else.
Pictures.
It was something. We went to see Ground Zero, which is extremely impressive and a touching place to visit.
But we did spread the word about the Isle of Man everywhere we went.
Good. Did you bring those little tiny flags?
We didn't need to. We even sang at the end of the concert. There was a bit of a party, and we were in two separate areas, and so we took ourselves off to the other area and performed Ellen Vannin.
Oh, lovely. Did you have an audience?
They couldn't go anywhere. They were all sat around tables. They were trapped. We were in the doorway. They couldn't get out.
That is beautiful.
And we sang our national anthem as well. And so we did spread the word, and lots of people were interested in the Isle of Man and didn't know where it was. And then, of course, you always come across some people who do know. But we couldn't get over how friendly New York was. I went over expecting to be mugged, and then everybody was so nice. And even on the subway, we were sat on there, and we were chatting away to each other about our visit. And there was a girl sat next to me, and I know the tube in London, you don't make eye contact, do you? You just not talk to anyone. And as she got off, she turned to us, she said, I hope you really enjoy your stay in New York. And it was just really random like that the whole time. Very, very friendly. Helped, I think, because Katie had bought us these amazingly sparkly bobble hats.
Oh, really? Was this so that you blended in?
Yeah, exactly. Just hiding away, as we do.
Katie, what was the best thing about the experience, would you say?
I would actually have to say the orchestra, and just being on the stage and being part of this epic thing that nobody has sung this work before, and to actually have Carl Jenkins just watching us and realising that he had never heard it before was absolutely amazing. Yeah, definitely brilliant.
And Jean-Michel, this was, I believe, broadcast live as well, wasn't it?
You can find on the DCINY Facebook page a live streaming.
It's now recorded,
of the whole programme. The first half being the Arm Man, the second half being us performing there.
And I believe you are seen in this video as well. You can be seen.
We can
Oh
be
yes,
seen.
you can't really miss Sue's hair. And I'm stood next to her, which is also quite weird because there were so many people there from different choirs, and we got stuck next to each other. Nobody else, as far as we were aware, that knew each other was sat with each other.
Did you behave, Sue?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm disappointed.
Well, I behaved on stage.
Mostly.
Did you put your best frock on, Jean-Michel? Did you look good?
Obviously,
Yeah.
obviously, we all looked very, very good, but we had to because we also went to the opera to see
That's terribly cultured.
the Marriage of Figaro, which was another experience.
So tell me then, what is next for the choir?
Oh, very exciting. We're going to be performing Verdi's Requiem.
Wonderful piece.
I'm just remembering the date now. It's about March the 25th. It's around there. It's that nearest Sunday. There's lots of posters up and around there. And I'll say this is your chance on the Isle of Man to see a choir that's performed in the Carnegie Hall, and as we like to say, not once but twice, because we had a dress rehearsal there as well, and we got to listen to the other choir's performance of the Armed Man, which was so moving because they had film behind it, and it was really, really special.
Because they were from all over the world, weren't they? There was people from all over the world there. What an amazing experience. What a wonderful thing. I don't know how you top it, but Verdi's Requiem is a good choice.
And we got the Isle of Man Symphony Orchestra with us, and they are wonderful too.
Absolutely.
And we've had longer to rehearse for the Verdi Requiem than we did for the Carl Jenkins, and we still managed to get a standing ovation. So I think you should really come along, or you'll be missing out.
It's been wonderful having you with us. Thank you so much. And just remind people where they can see this performance again, because you can go back, as Jean-Michel said, and see it again.
On the DCINY Facebook page.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming in, and it's lovely to know that you're not above us now, despite the fact you've had this incredible experience. We look forward to seeing you on stage on the Isle of Man soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.